we've been looking at financial mathematics for a little while now, and we've come to this topic of paying taxes. Now, this is probably the least fun time period for somebody who earns money, giving back money to the government. But for those of you who are in school at the moment, you're receiving the benefits of those. You're receiving the government funding that's going to schools, if you've ever been to a hospital, even the buses and trains that you catch to school every day. Those are funded by taxpayers. So even though paying the money to the government seems kind of annoying, it's actually going towards a relatively good thing. So how much tax should you pay? Well, it would be easy to say that everyone pays a certain amount. Let's say, I don't know, $30,000. But if you earned a lot more than that, that wouldn't be so fair if you earned a lot less. Because if you earned less than $30,000, you wouldn't even be able to pay that tax amount. So what's a fair way to tax people? And the government has come out with this table, and I've just gotten it from the Australian Tax Organisation website. And essentially, if your taxable income, the amount of income that you earn which can be taxed on, it falls within these brackets here, the amount you get taxed is in this right-hand column. And it may look a bit overwhelming, but essentially, all we're looking at is certain percentages of your income being taxed. That's the heart of it. And if you ever wonder why we don't teach you how to do your taxes in high school, the Australian government has actually come out with this program called eTax, and it's a fast and easy way to do your tax return. It's quite stress-free and it's quite automatic. All you do is just input your tax file number, so it has the records of most of your earnings and your employment, and you just punch it in, and it usually comes up with all your stuff, and you're ready to go. So that's actually quite easy. There's not much involved with calculating your tax nowadays. But I do want to talk about the manual calculation, because it's important that we understand where these numbers actually come from. So if I look at this table over here, I can see that, for example, if I earn less than $18,200, I'm not actually paying any tax at all. And that's quite fair, because if you're not earning much money compared to other people, you might not be able to support yourself as well. If we go to now above $18,200, you can see that you're charged 19 cents for each dollar over $18,200. Now this terminology here, 19 cents for each dollar, you can actually just think about that as 19%, because as you know, there's 100 cents in a dollar, and 19 out of 100 is just 90%. So every time it says, for each dollar, you can just think of a percentage. And we can see we've got some different calculations here, but I'll run through it. Okay, sweet. So, let's have a look at some questions. We want to find the total tax paid on an annual taxable income of these incomes here. And the first one to do, $15,003, that's really easy. I know that's less than $18,200, so that's just going to be $0 of tax. Okay. Nice. Alright, and then I come to this question over here, part 2. Now I'm earning a bit more money. I'm earning $22,000. So I want to see which bracket do I fall into. And since I'm earning more than $18,200, I know that and less than $37,000, I know I'm falling within this second bracket here. And that's charging me 19 cents for each dollar over $18,200. Now, when I'm doing the calculation for the amount of tax, you just want to be really careful. Although the bracket starts at $18,201, you want to see how many dollars you're earning over $18,200. And the reason for that is, let's just say over here, let's pretend I was earning $18,201. How much tax would I be paying? Well, it would be 19 cents for each dollar over $18,200. So obviously, there's just $1 over that, and that would mean I'm paying 19 cents worth of tax. Not very much. How do I do that calculation? Well, what I'm really doing is I'm subtracting 18,000, and that leaves me with 1. And then that one value, I know it's 19 cents for each dollar, but I can think of that as a percentage. So that could just be 1 multiplied by 0.19, which gives me $0.19. So I'll come back to this example. I want to apply the same process. I want to see how much I'm earning over 18,200. And I can do that really easy just by subtracting. And that will give me $3,800. But I want to work out 19% of that because that's how much I'm going to be taxed. So I'll say 3,800 multiplied by 0.19. I'll just write that as a decimal and calculate this one. So I'll do that very quickly. 3,800. So $722. And that's how much I'm being taxed. So that's the process for all questions you want to take. You just want to look at which bracket you're falling into, find how much over you're earning the threshold, and then calculate the percentage of that. Now, when you get into the higher tax brackets, they do something a little different. They say you pay a certain value of tax, and then you add on a certain percentage. So you add on a value of tax, and then you add on a percentage. So if I'm earning now much more than I was before, $56,307, I still want to look for which bracket I'm falling into. And you can see I'm looking into this third bracket over here. And the amount of tax I'm paying is $3,572 plus 32.5 cents for each dollar over 37,000. So let me start by finding how much over I'm earning first. I know that I'm earning $56,307, so I'll just subtract 37,000. I want to see how many dollars I'm earning over that amount. That would be 56,307. $19,307. Okay, that's fine. But remember, I'm charged 32.5 cents for each dollar over that amount. So I can think of that as just as a percentage. I've got 19,307 multiplied by 0.325. And that's just going to give me 4,826.75. Am I finished? No. Right, I still have to remember that I'm also adding on this amount here. Okay, so if I take now both of those amounts, the total tax paid would equal to that amount over there, 3,572. Plus what I just calculated over here, 4,826.75. And that gives me 8,398.75. That's all you got to do to calculate taxes on different incomes.